Well, the final series of the regular season is upon us, and your Detroit Tigers are playing for something. Man, that feels good to say.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Friday, September 27th, 2024. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah, the right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your baseball rivals. Book today on Booking.com, the official accommodation partner of Major League Baseball. Get the Booking.com app today. I am running out of ways to describe this baseball team. Thursday, the Detroit Tigers win 4-3. They improved to 85-74 on the season. They also improved to 9-1 in the team's last 10 games. They're on a 5-game win streak with 3 games remaining. This team just absolutely refuses to lose. This was a packed house at Comerica for a Thursday day game in September. We are so unbelievably back. And that is such a beautiful thing. But before we break down the game itself, and then obviously we'll preview the weekend, a huge weekend at Comerica Park. Get your tickets now because they're flying off the shelves. They're running out quickly here. But I just want to say, enjoy this. No matter what happens this weekend, enjoy the ride that this team is taking all of us on. You will likely never see anything like this ever again. Genuinely. This isn't just, it isn't just the winning baseball we've been begging for a decade, right? This is a historical all-time run and is legitimately turning into one of the biggest mid-season turnarounds in baseball history. I hope more than anything that this is the kickstart and this is the season that we all point to, and in the future that that is the year, that is the run, whatever, that started consistent winning in the city of Detroit again. I really do. More than anything, I hope that that's what this this entails. But no matter what happens this weekend and no matter what lies ahead in the future seasons, this in a vacuum is unbelievable. And it has made this town that has been without good, quality, exciting baseball for so long feel again. So just live in the moment for just a little bit and just appreciate and understand how awesome this is. Like The Office. I wish you knew that the good old days were the good old days before you left them, or whatever the exact quote is. Like realize what we are watching unfold. This is incredible. And I will never forget this for as long as I live. And I think that that's a shared sentiment with a lot of people. Even if this team does end up, turning the corner and is phenomenal going forward, this will be its own entity. This will be the magical, incredible 2024 season forever. 4-3 victory, a series sweep in Comerica against the Rays. The magic number is now, so I'm actually recording this before the Marlins and the Twins game. The Royals already played. They played a day game on Thursday. They won, so you are still tied with the Royals. However, like I said, I am recording this before the Twins play. So the magic number, if the Twins won on Thursday night, and you know this by the time you're listening to this, then the magic number is still 2. You got to win 2 of 3 against Chicago, no matter what Minnesota does this weekend. If the Twins somehow lose to the Marlins, then the magic number sits at just 1 game. What went right in this 4-3 victory? How can you not start with Colt Keith on this one? You know, he was having a brutal series, legitimately, and shows up today, Thursday, goes 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, 2 huge at bats. The triple was with 2 outs. That was 2 outs, man on first. You don't expect to score on that too terribly often, and yanks a triple down the line, then inevitably scores himself as well. Just unbelievable. And he had a quote after the game where he said he was going to do everything in his power. That's somewhat paraphrased, but he essentially said he was going to do everything in his power. He was going to do every single thing he possibly could to make sure that if he threw a sinker, that he was going to be inside and able to pull that baseball. And that is exactly what Colt Keith did, and came through clutch in a couple of different moments in this ball game. Fantastic to see. Fantastic to see him just pull velocity, right? All season it's been velocity, hit the other way, off-speed pull, and that has worked in spurts, but it hasn't been consistent because pitchers eventually figure it out. So for him to have such a big hit on that pitch specifically, doing what he did with it, I think is absolutely phenomenal, and is certainly one of the stars, if not the star, of this ball game. Then you have a lot of just really clutch hitting late, right? This was an offensive game that was very slow going for the Tigers for the first, they got shut out through the first 5 innings. It was a slow burn, but they come out on top yet again. You had Kerry Carpenter pinch hitting for Spencer Torkelson, which I think is telling. Torkelson hasn't been getting the pinch hit treatment quite as much as everybody else this year. And Kerry Carpenter, I think that's a moment where AJ Hinch just said, I have to find a way to get Kerry Carpenter in the ball game if a righty is on the mound. I have to, no matter what. And he found a way to do that. Kerry Carpenter comes through, huge hit. And then later in the game, Justin Henry Malloy pinch hits for that spot in the lineup and has a fantastic at bat. That is a professional AB. Man on third, Matt Vierling on third, 1 out. You just need a sac fly. He works the count. He's not expanding the zone, and he gets a pitch that he knows he can elevate, crushes it to center field. Great throw, by the way. Great throw. That was an absolute rope. Matt Vierling is very fast, though, and Joey Cora is Joey Cora. I really liked how all of the players were joking about how Joey Cora, they're like, yeah, well, we have Joey Cora. He's going to send him. We knew he was going to send him right away. I like how that's not just the fan base's interpretation. Like, no, everybody's well aware Joey's sending that thing no matter who's over there. It was an unbelievable at-bat by Malloy, and it'll probably be, I don't know if it'll be lost, actually, because it was the go-ahead run, and it was a huge, moment in the game, emotional moment for Matt Vierling there as well. But it shouldn't be lost if it is. That was a phenomenal AB. And then speaking of Matt Vierling, he was also one of the unsung heroes of this game. This was you really saw all of the different ways that Matt Vierling can impact a baseball game, right? 1 for 2 with 2 walks, gets on base 3 times, played left field, third base, and first base, all in this ball game, was the game-winning run on a sac fly that wasn't hit too terribly deep. And again, the center fielder had a great throw on. You just saw all of the value on display. And so many of our great beat writers have pointed out, like, he really is, a leader in the clubhouse as well. It's been reported by a lot of people. Evan Petzold, I know, wrote a piece on that as well. And you could tell when he scored, he was fired up. And I think that he represented really the entire city of Detroit in that moment. I know that's super cheesy and like cornball to say, but like that is I think how everybody felt. I was screaming like that at my TV. Everybody, 30,000+ in Comerica was screaming like that as well. Absolutely electric comeback, electric moment. The gritty Tigers just simply will not go away. Let's keep the ball rolling. Got a few more players to talk about on the side of things that went right. We'll talk about what went wrong and then preview this amazing weekend that lies ahead. We'll do all of that right after this. Got to talk to y'all today about Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn a very liberal rate of 4.5 APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up today at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Also got to talk to y'all about our friends over at booking.com. Booking.yeah. We talk about booking.com all the time here. It is the best place to go if you want to explore U.S. cities that you've always secretly wanted to learn more about. That may even include your baseball rivals. Cleveland, great place to catch a ball game. Minnesota, again, we're in a dogfight with Minnesota right now. Not big fans of the Twins, really ever, but at the present moment, either great place to catch a ball game as well. They have fantastic hotels that overlook stadiums, waterfronts, you name it. No matter what team you're rooting for this postseason, booking.com can make you a fan of any U.S. city. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your baseball rivals. Booking.com, booking.yeah. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, as always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. We will, of course, be back on Monday, recapping what is set to be the biggest weekend in Comerica Park in quite some time. Jake Rietma will be here throughout the weekend on Locked On Tigers postcast, immediately following every game. So, talking about what went right in this 4-3 victory, got to give a shout out to Parker Meadows yet again. I know people are probably getting tired of me bringing this dude up every single game, but he affects every single game. And I think the most telling part of this one was he got at-bats against lefties and went 2 for 3 on the day. His career OPS against left-handed pitchers is actually creeping up to 700 right at the major league level. It's not quite there. I think it's 694. Maybe after this game, it's even a little bit higher. Maybe it's even closer to 700. But his call-up year, last year at AAA, he had an OPS of about 800, maybe even a little better, against left-handed pitching. Now, in the lower levels of the minors, when he first started and he wasn't a very good hitter whatsoever, then he wasn't very good against lefties. He was almost unplayable at the low levels of the minors against left-handed pitching. But he made adjustments in AAA last season and was borderline better against lefties than righties at one point in that campaign. So I think it would be unbelievably even more valuable. Like we keep talking about the value of Parker Meadows, that value would get even greater if he was even a 700 OPS guy against lefties, right? I'm not even asking for him to be as good against righties as he is against righties or be league average against lefties. If he can even be a 690 to 710 OPS, 235 to 245 hitter against lefties that you feel comfortable batting 9, I think that there's, again, a ton of value in that just because of how much he can impact the game in so many ways. Playing him for 162 is going to be really important to this team's success going forward. And if he can make adjustments and if the Tigers can figure out how to do that, that's a good thing. Superman, baby. Trey Sweeney, phenomenal play in the field in this one. This was it the first or second inning? Very early in this ball game, had a great play, diving catch to his right. He has been better and better defensively, I think, as the season has gone along. When he first got called up, he was a little stiff there, a little choppy. We had seen Javi as well, who, say what you will about Javi, still very athletic and can make some pretty darn good plays over there. Trey Sweeney's been really good defensively lately, really good. And there are even some metrics that would indicate that he has been better than Javi Baez was defensively. And if you think that that's sustainable over 162, given what he has done offensively and what Javi has obviously not done offensively, we're going to have a really, I say tough conversation in the winter. I don't think it's going to be tough for too many fans. I think it's going to be pretty easy for the fan base to have it. Maybe it's a tough conversation for ownership and the willingness to part ways with someone getting paid with that much money. But I think that that's going to continue to be a conversation as we come closer and closer to the offseason. Hopefully not too close yet, though. The bullpen yet again, Justin Henry Malloy was asked after the game, how they keep doing this and keep finding ways to win and the comeback efforts and all of that. And he mentioned the bullpen specifically. He said a lot of the things that we've talked about on this show, just in terms of, the reason they are able to come back in games and win games 4-3 late is because the bullpen just doesn't give up runs ever. This bullpen over the last 2 months has been ridiculous. And it continues to be. I keep preaching it from the mountaintops. I keep screaming it as loud as I can. I genuinely believe the biggest reason why the Tigers are in the position they're in right now. And it's nice to hear an offensive player give the props and talk about how, we know we only have to score once and we're probably good. Like that's an unbelievable vote of confidence. Bo Brisky, 2 innings of perfect ball in this game. His ERA is down to 3.56. And then Jason Foley, man, 3.17 ERA, 1 inning of perfect ball, 2 strikeouts. Back to April Jason Foley. I'm going to get a noise complaint in my apartment. Absolutely electric. Pumping a hundo to end the game, getting fired up, almost pushing Dylan Dingler over, Jake Rogers, whoever was in the game at that point, over. Just absolutely remarkable. And to see him get back, rear back, and start pumping 99 and 100 again. If we get April Foley down the stretch here for 3, who knows, maybe more ball games, that's a darn good thing. Golly, what an absolutely incredible afternoon at Comerica Park. What went wrong in this ball game? Kind of a rough transition there. Incredible game. Let's talk about what went wrong. Really, the only highlights of on the side of things that went wrong in this game, if we're looking for an individual, not to just like pick on him specifically, Andy Ibanez continues to slide. This is a guy that was, had 1,000 or over 1,000 OPS against lefties at one point this season. And over the last month, while everybody else on the team is streaking, he's been sliding. And the team, AJ continues to invoke confidence in him and keeps playing him in the situations that he always did, right? Leading off against lefties, etc. And he just doesn't have it right now. He is just not putting very competitive at-bats together, swinging and missing a lot more than we're used to with him. Now, as we say all the time, he's a streaky hitter in general because he swings at everything. That Jonathan Scope had the same thing back in the day, right? He was really good, like the best hitter on the team for a month and a half, and then was unplayable for a month, and it would just switch back and forth because they were such aggressive hitters. That's kind of just the give and take with Andy Ibanez, but I'm wondering if there's going to be an adjustment in how he's utilized against lefties here down the stretch, given how much he continues to struggle. But really, this was a team effort in struggling offensively for the first 5 innings. Old friend Tyler Alexander, with his dang near 5.5 ERA, comes in and absolutely slices and dices the Detroit Tigers. 5 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. He has a 5.10 ERA on the season after this performance. This was just a really frustrating game to watch there when he was on the bump. Just really frustrating ABs. It really just felt like they couldn't get anything together. They couldn't string at bats together, right? Like there were a lot of runners on with 2 outs. They just, 2 outs, nobody on. Okay, there's a hit, and then the inning's over. Just really annoying. And Tyler Alexander's a fly ball pitcher, which is why he always did really well at Comerica. I think he's toward the top, if not at the top in baseball in home runs given up this year. So he's a guy where, like, if he's keeping the ball in the park, he's going to have lines that look like this. He just doesn't keep the ball in the park very often, and the Tigers couldn't take advantage today. But the offense really turned it up against one of the better bullpens in baseball. The Rays bullpen is elite. It continues to be. And the fact that they turned it around against this bullpen, back against the wall, at home to get a sweep, it's incredible. And just like that, the Tigers win yet again. Let's talk stuff. We're going to talk Reese Olson and Casey Mize. Then we'll get into this weekend. All right, we'll do that right after this. Got to talk to you today about our friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports because, unlike other apps on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you watch all of your winnings roll in. One Caleb Williams passing yard can get you one win on Prize Picks every week in September. That means this is the final weekend of this amazing offer. That's right, only 1 yard gets you an automatic win in September. That's a free W this weekend. You can also now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks over at Prize Picks. And if you download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB, you can get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, as always. So let's talk stuff. Reese Olson, Casey Mize piggyback. You know, if you're a longtime Tigers watcher, you will remember the very famous Reese Olson, Casey Mize piggybacking that happened when Reese Olson first got called up. That was the norm. We used to see that all the time. And so it was kind of funny. It was a trip down memory lane, kind of a full circle moment there to see Reese Olson and Casey Mize go back to back in a piggyback start there. But I think it was flipped. Usually Casey Mize started and then Reese Olson was the piggyback reliever, starter, whatever you want to call it there. And this one, Reese Olson gets the start. 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. His ERA is now down to 3.53 on the year. I thought he was fantastic, to be honest with you. I thought the stuff was amazing. I think when he is really on his game, utilizing the curveball and the slider, I don't know how anybody hits him. And I know I said that about Job yesterday, but it reigns true with Reese Olson as well. His slider is so good and it moves so much, and the fastball is mid-90s and the changeup's really good, that when you also add more of a loopy kind of 12-6, a little bit more of a vertical curveball into that mix, which is what he was offering a lot in this game, he's something special. And even, he gave up the 2 earned runs. It was complete bologna sandwich. Like it was ridiculous, dude. Like, he gave up 6 consecutive ground balls that inning. 6 in a row. Ground balls, infield grounders, and gave up 2 runs. He executed everything how he wanted to. That's just baseball being baseball. The middle infield defense, for as much as I praised Trey Sweeney earlier, Colt Keith got the ball hit to him a lot in that inning and did not come out of that battle ahead. And Trey Sweeney, we can debate, I guess, about who should have been covering second on that one play, but that was a really rough inning for the defense up the middle there, and for a pitcher that should have walked out of there without giving up any runs, but unfortunately not the case. So I have no issue with that inning. I have no issue with really the entire outing. I thought he looked really solid. Casey Mize then comes in 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. His ERA is now 4.37 on the year. Had a lack of swing and miss early, just was getting blooped to heck because his splitter can't get swings and misses for some reason. It just gets weak contact. There's a lot of bloopers. You saw the earned run. And then he reached back and went into some zone that we have not seen him reach too terribly often lately, and struck out the side, was getting called strikes, was getting swings and misses. was pumping 97-mile-an-hour fastballs, good splitters, good sliders. He was incredible in those final 3 batters of his outing. I'm curious about his usage the rest of the way, right? Is he going to be a long reliever down the stretch here? I don't even want to have the playoff conversation. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself in any way, shape, or form. But I'm interested in, as the games become more high leverage, we'll say that, and as there are fewer and fewer starts to go around, if he's going to be kind of a multi-inning bridge or middle reliever here the rest of the way. That'll be an interesting thing to keep an eye on. I also think it's cool that every single position player played in this ballgame. Every single one. Completely empty bench, just how AJ Hinch likes it, and it led to a victory. Every string AJ pulled was the right run, right? Kerry Carpenter comes in, gets a hit. Justin Henry Malloy comes in for Carpenter, gets a sac fly. McKinstry late in the game. Matt Vierling playing first. Everything he did was correct. None of the relievers after Mize gave up a run. Masterclass performance, as we've become used to over the years. This was the Tigers' 85th win on the season. For those keeping track at home, and for those who may or may not remember, if you've been listening every day since spring training, first off, I love and appreciate you greatly. My preseason prediction for this team was 84 wins. They will officially eclipse that 84 win mark, get to 85. Now, that's very my own arbitrary number that nobody cares about, and nobody should care about. But I just bring it up to say that's 2 years in a row they have exceeded my expectations that I put out there on the show. I said 74 wins last year. They won 77. Said 84 this year. We'll see how many they end with this year, but it's going to be more than 84, and that is pretty darn cool. The Mariners were officially eliminated on Thursday with the Tigers and Royals victories, so we no longer have to care anything about what the Mariners do the rest of the season. Goodbye, sayonara, see you later. If you're a Mariners fan and bandwagoning on the Tigers fan base, though, welcome with open arms, as always. The Twins play the Marlins on Thursday night. Like I said, I'm recording this before that ball game. So if the Twins win, your magic number is 2. You just got to win 2 of 3 against Chicago at home, and you're in the playoffs no matter what the Twins do. They could even sweep this weekend and win out. It wouldn't matter. You win 2 of 3, you win. If the Marlins win, then that magic number is down to 1. And the White Sox are playing a little bit of interdivision rivalry, a little bit of rival ball here. Grady Sizemore was asked about it, and he mentioned the fact that they were the Tigers, were interdivision rivals with the Sox, obviously, and was talking about how, he's going to save Garrett Crochet for Friday's game and not pitch him earlier because they are trying to avoid history and they are trying to prevent a division rival from making the postseason. Not to alarm anybody, but the Chicago White Sox, the game has not ended yet, so we'll see what happens. I mean, it is still the White Sox, but at the time of this recording, they're up 7-0 very late in the ball game against the Angels. And that would be 3 games in a row that the White Sox would have won. And they are trying to avoid being the worst team in modern baseball history. They're at 120 losses. They have to win out to avoid it. They are tied with the record. So they're playing for something. This is not just, some random team playing for nothing that's really, really bad. They are playing to avoid history. And if you don't think that matters, why don't we take a trip down memory lane about 21 years ago for your own team? The 2003 Detroit Tigers were at 118 losses with about 7 or 8 games left and went, 6-1, 7-1 down the stretch to avoid the record for the worst team ever. So if you don't think it's possible and you don't think that they aren't playing for something, look in your own team's history. These guys are I promise, they are trying to win. Nobody wants to be the biggest losers of all time. And the Tigers got really hot late in 2003 to avoid the same fate. You think anybody thought that the 2003 Tigers were going to, win 6 of their last 7 or whatever it ended up being? Close the door. beat them Friday, game 1, get it out of the way, completely break their will, make sure they have nothing left to play for the rest of the weekend, and take what's yours. Go make the playoffs. That is crazy to say. I cannot believe if you would have told me that I would be saying that. I'm going into the last series of the weekend just a month and a half ago. I would have laughed in your general direction. Jason Benetti ended, great call to end the ball game on Thursday, said, a city that doesn't care about the odds has a baseball team to match it. I don't know what lies ahead, but go make the playoffs. I can't even believe we're saying it. Go get your tickets. Go to Comerica. The tickets are running out fast. This place is going to be an absolute zoo. It's going to be electric. And you got 3 games left. Finish the job, right? We're not getting ahead of ourselves. We're not declaring anything. This is not over. If you fall short, there's a lot less meaning. Finish the job. Go make the postseason. Go make the postseason. Crazy sentence. Go make the postseason. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Appreciate the everydayers that do tune in every single day. We will, of course, be back on Monday recapping this weekend and talking about whatever comes next. Go make the playoffs. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. I'll catch you on Monday, baby. Go Tigers. Go make the playoffs. Golly.